Episode 17 of the Paradox Podcast with my brother Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff, what's going on?
I'm good. I'm sick. I've been attacked by horseflies.
God.
I'm down bad, but we're still here to have this discussion, like always, and speak our minds, give our opinion, all that good stuff. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I haven't been attacked by anything, so that's a blessing in itself. Um, Other than that, bro, everything's been actually really good. I feel like I've been being consistent with the right things. That's really that gets me to be like happy. If I can be consistent in the things I want to be, I'm good. So yeah, it's not a heat wave anymore, and so everything's kind of chilled out. So I've been good, staying afloat, staying productive, keeping it pushing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what's been on your mind while you've been sick?
When I'm sick, like my whole body kind of slows down, my thought process slows down, everything is slow, which I actually like being in that state of mind. It's just the body aches and things like that I don't really mess with.
Hmm.
I've had a lot of time to kind of audit the studio, my role, you know, our team, our partnerships, all that good stuff. And I think I've come to a really good place of how to make everything a little bit more simple. Um, my role kind of deals with dishing out consequences now. So how to go about that without kind of uh reacting. So responding versus reacting. Um, and how to serve better, whether it's our members, our clients, how to be of service instead of always looking for a dollar. Um,
Hmm.
and all that came about while I'm sick. So shout out to my immune system.
I mean, being sick actually has its perks in terms of you're right. Not only do you slow down, but I feel like time slows down because it's easy to fill up your day with like tasks you have to do, and you're healthy, so like you can do them. But when you're sick, you're just like, you're not in you're not in the state of mind or you're not at peak performance. So you're forced to slow down. And, I heard that a lot of times our best ideas or whatever it may be comes at times when we're like the least productive or like the least, in the arena of our work. So it is funny that you're like, oh, while I was sick, I actually like a lot of good came from it because if it's funny, I feel like the most I am productive is when I'm like,
Bored.
whatever, like bored in the shower, brushing my teeth, like praying when I'm trying to focus on my prayer. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea for something. And it's just funny how that works.
You don't have the strength to do what you normally do or overthink. Like I don't have the strength to pick up my phone right now and doom scroll. I really don't. Or pick up the remote or do something unproductive. So it kind of forces you to prioritize honestly what's important right now and you start to, get in that way of thought.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things where it's funny. I keep thinking about this video I seen where it was talking about you can't rush like the perfect result. Like ultimately every outcome that's gonna contribute to like a really big win in your life or in your career will almost come from a process like you don't know it's working on you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're unconsciously just doing what you do, but you don't know that that thing is actually gonna work. So it's almost like, I mean, we've talked about this in past episodes of like, sometimes the win is like a spiritual outcome,
Mm,
or there's something that you didn't even do, but it's like, okay, the timing is right for this thing to work. Hey, the timing is right for you to get sick and for you to have this idea, like you're ready to get that. So I think it's funny, just being productive in general is like it kind of sells us an illusion of control. Like, oh yeah, be productive to get good results. It's like, yeah, yeah, but also you can easily be very productive and be lackluster.
yeah. And like while I've been sick, I've been reading this book that I found at like on the bike trail, those free book cases.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
found it in there. It's called Go Giver, Sell More, and I'm on.
Mm.
I'm probably a little bit over halfway through, but um, the concepts of like your time coming, or is it the right time, building relationships, like all this stuff, all the things that we think about in the name of productivity, they don't really matter. The only thing that really matters is just being of service, adding value. We're not supposed to be thinking about a result or a dollar, income, anything like that. It's like, how do I add the most value to this person, this company, whatever, at this point in time, and trust that you'll get a return on investment. That investment being your time.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
think, no, go ahead.
I was just saying I loved that. I'm still reading it, but I love that way of thinking. It kind of takes the weight off, the pressure off of having to be something instead of just being, and allowing that to attract what you desire.
Yeah, no, it's definitely let me borrow the book when you're done. But I feel like that's a tough thing for this world we live in because especially in what we do in the creative space, it seems like everything needs ROI. You know what I mean? Like everything has to be in a pipeline of, okay, so whatever I'm doing, the outcome will be like a benefit to me. Like I'm not just doing something to do it. And it's funny how a video I seen the other day was talking about like, listen, like don't worry too much about your product or your offer. Try to fixate on accumulating as much goodwill as you can to the people that you want to affect. And once you've built up that goodwill, it almost doesn't matter what your product or offer is. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Because people will already feel like you've already done a lot for them. So whatever the offer is, it'll feel like nothing compared to when you've done nothing for somebody and then you're already kind of like putting your hand out. So it is funny how again being so outcome dependent, especially in the means of you getting what you want from someone. It's like we're so fixated on that, but we live in a world that doesn't fixate on goodwill and giving it to others. So it is funny how we're in I don't know. We're just in a space where it's like people aren't just doing it for the kindness of their heart. And if they are, they're still getting an ROI in something. And I'm definitely guilty of that, to be honest.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
What kind of goes into its instinct to care about you more.
Hmm.
Let's say a mother and her child, like the mother has to be okay. What do they do on the planes? It's like put your thing on first before helping somebody else.
Yeah, women and children first before you put on your own. As a
Exactly.
guy, as a guy.
Is it that or put on your own before that? I don't know.
Oh, actually, no, no, no. I think it is put on your own first. I think the
Well,
last time. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, it is. No, it is put on your own first.
copy. And there's millions of examples of it, but yeah, like we're innately selfish, but not in the bad way, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Um, and in the book, it calls your product or your whatever you're selling a MacGuffin. I forget why. It's tied to somebody, but it's called a MacGuffin. So my MacGuffin or my product may be a digital ebook or a hiking event or I don't know a product, but that's not what I'm selling. I'm selling a transformation, as you know,
Hmm.
whether it's clarity or I don't know, a deeper sense of self, whatever you want to call it. But what you're actually selling is underneath your product. The product doesn't really matter, like you said in the beginning.
Hmm.
It's why you're doing it, why it exists, all that good stuff. So again, very powerful, powerful way of thinking. And yeah, you truly lean into that, you can do anything you want.
And I think what you said is very potent, like just saying, a lot of us, I mean, I would consider you in the educational space. I don't know if you look at it like that. The space of content creation towards like information and like elevating a group or whatever. And it's funny. that is like what our target should be. Like we're selling transformation
Yeah.
ultimately. So it's funny how it's almost like that question looms like, why do you want to sell transformation? And I only say that because one of the things we want to discuss today was quality over quantity. So depending on how you fixate on your goal, determines what your strategy is going to be, right? So if you're somebody that is really, let's say you really want the money, you of course you care about what you're doing, but you really want an ROI, you might roll out your goal as like, hey, like these are the offers, like hey, everything is like testimonials, right? So it's like, hey, these are my offers, these are my testimonials, back and forth, and you're kind of just more business centric. Or you could be someone that is like always giving out freebies, doing a lot of community service, either content or stuff in your actual community. But I always find it interesting how, of course, there's a bunch of people in the space and how everyone kind of plays. Okay, I'm selling transformation, but how you do it kind of puts a lens on what that person really cares about. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I think that's really tough to figure out because it's like a lot of people doing this, they're selling transformation, but they're not good for themselves. You know what I mean? They're struggling. They have bills to pay, but they're selling, you know what I mean? Like a very beautiful life, or they're selling something very elevated in that sense. So I don't know how you handle that because it's like, of course, let's just, we're coming up. That's the way to say it. We're coming up and we are selling transformation. So we have to go about it in a way where we're like, we want to give the goodwill, you know what I mean? But we also are very cognizant of a ROI on our time, on our resources. So,
like the selling is just a term like for that business or that industry. We're not supposed to be selling anything. We're just
mhm.
being human. That's it. Like I may have the skills or tools that you need to solve a problem. And it's my purpose to use those skills and tools to help you find a solution. That's it. Whether it's better songwriting, whether it's I need to fire a DJ for my party, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not thinking about my return. It's giving unconditionally, and that can be very hard when your back's against the wall and you're like you have to pay rent and like these real world problems are in your face. But even in the midst of that, like your priority should be service and what can I do for you? And I promise it'll come back tenfold.
Mm. Do you ever feel that there's a struggle to be genuine, even though we're being authentic? But I do feel as if people like listening to people that don't really need it. That makes sense? Like, of course, you're gonna listen to someone who has already achieved their goal and who has ages of experience, whereas somebody in that same field who is starting new, like is pretty much new and fresh, um, but because they don't have the track record, they're not a trusted individual. But they're both selling transformation and they're both great at what they do.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel? Because again, it's a level playing field when I look at content and media and um, the industry of self improvement or of artist education.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is young and doing it can give that info based on their experiences, and then the dude that's won platinum records, work with Quincy Jones, he's doing the same thing, you know? So how can people, again, this might even sound screwed up, but should people leverage goodwill? Are we using authenticity, goodwill, and maybe faith, I don't know, to like win people over or get them on our side, or What is the?
Nah, we're not leveraging anything. This isn't a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's not transactional.
But it is though.
It's not supposed to be. It is,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be. Like
Yeah.
in a perfect world, I'm supposed to give my man a ride without expecting gas money or expecting something in return. You know,
Hmm.
examples is endless. That's how it's supposed to be. But again, like you said, in our society, that is not the norm. But the most successful entrepreneurs and um, even people we look up to, they're the most selfless. They give themselves without question, without hesitation, because they understand the law of it's not called reciprocal law of reciprocation, but there's a law where it's just like you put it out there and it comes back, whether it's karma or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and I think yes, always be yourself. And I think you can kind of bridge the gap. Let's say you brought up Quincy Jones, like the our peers at the top of our industry. They're able to influence people and attract people because of their accolades.
Hmm.
Bottom, you may have the same skills, same work ethic, all that. You have to um, show that you care. You have to show that you care. I know Pharrell cares by the quality of his music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's say me, B says it all the time. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I already know by what Pharrell does, what all these legacy producers and artists, what they do, they care about their craft. Nobody knows me yet. So I have to show you that I care first to be on that even playing field.
Hmm. Do you show how much you care by saying how much you care or by showing by doing?
Your actions.
Yeah.
Actions always speak louder than words. Like, am I gonna say to the lady, "Hey, I could hold the door open for you if you need it," or am I just gonna go open the door? You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like, it's doing it versus saying it. There's a big difference, and that
Yeah.
when you getting the job and not. You know what I mean? Remembering somebody's name. It's very simple things. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you think about just the idea of competition in a way because ultimately we're in a market, so we do have to think about these things in the arena of, hey, there's a lot of people getting after what you're getting after, even though there's enough for everyone, and I'm under that assumption. But at the same time, it makes you think just like, am I really competing against anybody in this? You know, if you're really authentic and yourself, and the moment you start to narrow down who you're doing it for, does it matter who's next to you doing it? You know, it doesn't matter if they've worked with Quincy Jones, you know, we're talking about Pharrell's and those people, or it's somebody like, you know, you and I, you know what I mean? Again, like just coming up, you know, earning our stripes. So even though that's important to us, when we look at the market, how do we get people to value both of us equally? Can that even exist, you think?
Value us equally. I don't know if it matters. Like, I love competition. I feel like there's two races going on. Like, you and Pip, y'all, if y'all are in competition, DJ competition. Y'all are competing to make this person who hired y'all have the party of the summer. You know what I mean? Y'all are competing for their benefit.
Yeah.
And whether you do a better job or Pip does a better job, y'all both win because your goal is to give them a great experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As well as y'all made a connection. Oh, he's dope. Let me collaborate. Let me work. It's a way of that way of thinking is um abundant.
Right, right.
Losing our uh normalized version of competition is I have to be better than him. It's a me thing. Again, one way is I'm trying to benefit you. It's about you, the customer, the whoever. And then one way is I'm trying to serve myself. If I'm always operating and I'm trying to give you the best service versus somebody who's I have to beat him or I have to do this for me, I'm always gonna win
Hmm.
every single time.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really where you're getting at in terms of, okay, what do you actually believe of what you're doing? So if you believe that, oh, only those people are the ones that um are being listened to and
Yeah.
are affecting, whatever the masses, um, honestly, it just shows like what you think about yourself, and what you think about just influence in general. Whereas, like you said, if you're really serving your community or your market audience, whatever it may be, then you're just like, okay, I just want to impact people. If it's really something that's sought out over, like it's gonna scale, like it's gonna spread. And it's funny how a lot of like founders of companies in general literally will say like, "Oh yeah, I was just trying to like help out my neighborhood," or like I was just trying to help out my friends. And people are just like, "Yo, you should venture this out to bigger scales, bigger markets." But it is funny how I feel like you learned that while doing it. Because I'm not gonna lie, all of us, we have ego in us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of kill the ego. I think it's just a matter of refine the ego and have a relationship with it where it's not always at the center of everything. And I think that's where real maturity comes in. But like you said, everything we're saying, it's this thing of this is how things should be, and this is how things really are. And you kind of have to, I'm not gonna say it's as binary as like pick a side, but in a way, you do have to realize like who's out there. Because a lot of times people are acting for themselves, or people wave around the flag of, oh, this is for the community, and this is for, saying all the nice keywords to like distract you from ego
Mm-hmm.
and vanity. And so in a really funny way, it's like, how do you want to be like represented out here?
And again,
Um,
that kind of brings it back to another topic of the book is reputation.
mhm.
I keep my reputation clean. I'm known as this giving person and of service person. Again, I will win every time. It takes one it takes one time to rub somebody wrong, to miss a handshake, miss an email, to ruin you. You know what I mean? But if I'm always operating and I'm in service to this person and my goal is to make sure they get to get what they want, regardless of what it is,
Mhm.
I'm going to win. I'm going
Right.
it's not about me. Whatever you're selling, it's not about you. Like if I let's say me and a songwriter, we're both commissioned to write for Beyonce. We write the song, and I see that their song is better. Good, because my goal is for Beyonce to make crack. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not throw you under the bus or steal your song or act in my interest. That does not work, at least not in the long term.
Yeah, it's almost like just having like a teammate mentality
Exactly.
with like what we're doing. Because something I realized like doing more content for Senia,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so if the page does well, is that about me? And if it is about me, I kind of don't like that, but I do. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have an internal thing of like, okay, I want to, of course, have a successful company, but to the means, like to the ends of helping the people around me, to the ends of, hey, putting money in the people's pockets that feature and stuff, or to amplify them in a way that they couldn't do on their own, or to, do some activations, whatever, you know what I mean, to actually impact in the way that I want to impact. Will I be getting a good, some benefit, some goodwill out of that, all that, sure. But at the same time, I feel like we have to really ask ourselves, and something I had to do, to be like, who is this really for? Because I find like people who really go for it, they've kind of like understood why they're doing it.
Yep.
Like they know their why. And I feel like when you know your why, it's easier to navigate like the big questions of like, oh, why do I have a scarcity mindset about all of this? You know? Or being like, oh yeah, I don't care giving away free stuff. Like I don't, it is what it is. Like I'm gonna do it anyway, you know? So, and so in that way, do you fixate on making sure that you're good with yourself before you do anything? Or do you say like, yo, just figure it out as you go?
Feel like it's a balance of both. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't wake up on time and you still have to be of service to somebody. I think just in um acting in a mindset of service kind of balances everything. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's just different for everybody. Yeah. What was the question?
Like when you're like trying to be like like acting out of service or acting out of yourself, do you have to be somebody that knows that already before you do it? Like what is your attitude, you think?
Just I don't know. Like you just have to be selfless. Like I don't know the perfect way to say it. It's literally just act out of service without hesitation every time, and naturally you'll get relationships, you'll get deals, you'll get referrals, clients. That's just a byproduct because they know that you are not acting out of ego or selfishness, um, or in your own interest. And that person is very appreciated, very protected. And that's the person I think everybody should desire to be in their own field. It's that person of service and selflessness. And again, you can say all these words, but again, it's about action. You know, who
Yeah.
who are you when bills aren't getting paid and whatever? Even in those times, you have to choose service.
Mm,
Allow nature to take its course.
yeah. It makes me think about what matters more, quality over quantity,
Uh,
because if you it's so funny. Strategy is so funny because you can be a person that is a very giving person, have a lot of goodwill, and you could fixate on quality.
mm,
And you can also be that same type of person and fixate on quantity.
mm,
But saying that you are a good-hearted, um, a very giving member of your community doesn't ultimately put you in one of those places. Um, so for you, what do you think what do you think matters more right now, today?
um, I think it depends on your product. You know what's on the surface. Like if my product is space shuttles and what's beneath it is helping people explore space and see what else is out there, I better focus on quality. Like
Right,
I don't
right.
make a million space shuttles for the sake of saying I made a million. I need to make one that completes the mission.
Hmm.
You know, something less um, severe or less, I guess, crucial, whatever word you want to use for it. Um, Quality or quantity matters. in term, content. You're a music artist, you need a lot of reach to compete, you know? Um, so I think it just depends on what the product is. I don't it's all a paradox. It's all a contradiction, bro. What's right for what you're doing? And it has
Yeah.
awareness to um figure out what you need at that point in time. But if there is no this or that anymore. I don't think that way anymore. It's what's right for.
Yeah. It's because it's funny because when I was proposing this idea for quality versus quantity for the podcast, I almost knew like, oh yeah, there's not going to be an answer really, like a definitive like one answer for this. All I know that the curiosity behind it about which one will lead to a good discussion because exactly what you said, it's all on you. You have to adapt. You have to be able to put on both hats. And that's one thing about being an artist that I learned that you can't just say, "Oh, I'm just this." Like I only move like this. I can only do this. Like to me, I always feel like that's a death sentence because I lived in that way and I figured out that I couldn't grow. Like I
Yeah,
couldn't evolve from that person because I only limited myself to one ability or like limited myself to one train of thought, one routine of actions in what I do. So like you could focus on quality and then really not build a catalog, of work to be seen, to be, to have opportunities. I can't tell you how many times I've seen on TikTok like people talk about like, yeah, I found somebody with like 20 views, and then I casted him for a movie because he was good and da da da. Like, there's too many stories like that now, especially ever since like 2016, like
yeah,
just social media stories of like, oh yeah, we just saw the quality,
mm,
but quality has to meet quantity to some point because you're just like, okay, well, you got to show us like more because I actually like you now. But you do if you have a bunch of quantity and no quality, then it's kind of like, well, you are visible. It's just that um, no one's latching onto it. But that's for you to realize. I
exactly,
think that's the thing about a lot of this, like this whole discussion. It's like, well, again, you have to take a lot of responsibility here because no one's gonna be your coach. Respect to everybody that has like an accountability coach to some degree, of someone that's gonna be like, hey, buddy, the stuff you're putting out is not great, or it's not helping us get to here. But for the rest of us normies, we gotta look at our stuff and be like, it's time to lean this way, time to lean that way. And again, if you don't have that responsibility, then if you're not going to take it upon yourself, then who will? You
yeah.
know?
A lot of it is on you because there is no blueprint for any one thing. I don't care if somebody explains how they got famous or how they did this. It's not gonna work for you. Not in the same way it worked for them. So get those skills of discernment and awareness and um, learn the laws of the universe and all this stuff that people take for granted or just ignore or are distracted by something else, too distracted to notice
Mm-hmm.
and run with it. It's not as complicated as people think.
Yeah, it isn't. What do we always say? I feel like we've said it a million times on the pod, but like it's it's like it's not hard, but it's simple, or it's not easy, but it's simple.
But it's simple. Yeah.
Yeah, and I constantly think about that when I'm posting because I'm like, you know what you got to do. And I'm not gonna lie, a part of me sometimes feels a bit like, damn, do I love this too much? Like, do I love my ideas too much? And I only say that, and people say that thing. It's called. I don't even want to say. It's kind of derogatory, but it's like a retard maxing. If you heard people say that, well, essentially what it is just saying like, think less, do more. That's essentially like the basis of what it means. So like people who don't um let's say they're not very like bright, not like much of like of a thinker, but they do a lot. You know those people they just want to do stuff. They're not really even thinking about how things are going to work or pan out. But when they do it, they get results because they're about action. And sometimes I find myself I love music and I love rollout and I love like vision stuff so much that I'm like, bro, I just need to do it. Like, and this is coming from somebody that does do a bunch of stuff, but I'm just like, man, I kind of wish I didn't care. Like, I cared less. If that makes sense. Because a lot of times we can get lost in our own dreams and ideals and visions. So, to you, do you feel like I should think less and do more? Like, is that like something everyone can learn from, or do you think it's more like, yo, like that's that's maybe a certain type of person, you know, and not everyone has to move like that.
Think less and do more. Yeah, for most things, I think not overthinking and just acting. You'll
Mm-hmm.
a lot faster. You'll make mistakes a lot faster and learn from those mistakes. Um, and people love to support people who try, whether you're succeeding or not. So it's way better to just do it, not halfway, but do it amateur ish, um, than to sit on the bench
Mm-hmm.
always. My bad. Somebody just who's not supposed to be here is knocking on the door. So I'm trying to be super quiet.
No, you're good. I can't even hear anything. Um, I will ask you this one thing, maybe something for both of us to answer. But if you were gonna advise someone to focus on one thing this week in terms of what they're showing of themselves online, what is that one aspect you think that will you'll to communicate yourself clearly in what you do? Like every week, you should be showing this side of you. For you, what do you think that is for someone in this creative game?
I think try to share one thing that you learned. Again, it shouldn't be about you. Um, whatever helps you serve the best. So, a talking head video about, hey, I learned this today, or a book review that helps you learn this, that could help somebody else do the same problem. Um, I don't think it really matters what it is. Just make sure it's selfless. It should not be in pursuit of gaining something or getting something only to add value to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what that is, um, sit in silence, man. Fit like you don't know how you can help somebody else yet. One, that's the problem. You identified the problem is you have nothing to offer. Um, but sit with it and think, how can I be of service? How can I actually be valuable to somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
And slowly over time, you'll you start to develop the pattern of how to display that. Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to piggyback on the adding value. Um, my reasoning would be sometimes we all give value in different ways, but ultimately, I believe that we all have it within us to be a person that someone looks to for value. And I think the people that are doing well on social media or even in their craft, they've just managed to find a way to communicate that value where that person that's watching it feels like they belong while they're watching it. They feel like they're right next to you or that they're learning with you. You know, that feeling, I feel like that is the skill of adding value in a masterful way.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I always say like, life is lived in the arena. But you need to try, like, you need to keep doing that until it goes through. Like,
Mhm.
this connects beautifully to the notion of the person that does it out of goodwill. He's not like looking at the scoreboard. You know what I mean? When he's doing this, he's
Yeah,
gonna keep adding value until whoever's listening or hearing it becomes, again, till that transformation hits. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, but I get my kicks, or whoever it is, they get their kicks out of doing it, giving it. So if you can add value once a week in whatever arena that is for you, ultimately the sky's the limit.
exactly. And there's always a person on your level. So if you just started making content, there's somebody who just started watching it, if that makes sense. If
Mm-hmm.
as that sounds. So don't try to copy the creators that you see. What works for you? And be aware of the type of audience that's paying attention and learn how to cater to them. Again, learn how to serve them. You know, it starts with one person, then five, then 15, and so on. But as long as you're operating in a place of service, selflessness, naturally you will get a return. But again, that's not the point. That's not the goal. Um, yeah, and it's a hard concept to grasp. It's a hard mind shift, but it will make all the difference. You know, if you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist, how can you best serve somebody else and run with it?
Yeah, just run with it. I think that that's something people should just like hold on to. Like, everything is not gonna make sense one day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all gonna come to you one day and then you get started and then everything is peachy after that. It's kind of like this rolling um I don't know, like an it's almost like an avalanche of epiphanies, of like lessons and small wins and discoveries within yourself and within the person you're trying to serve. And you're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like, "Oh, okay." It's almost like you're getting into your pocket, and every day you're just getting real comfy in it, and pushing yourself and da da da, until suddenly you're in a place that only you can do what you're called to do. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? That's You get to that point where, like, it doesn't even matter what's happening around me or what people say. I'm in the pocket now. So if I just keep delivering within my pocket, and you know what they say, double down on the signal,
Mm-hmm.
then you will be heard and your value will be felt. And if you're in that position in a business or in a creative field, it is only a matter of time for whatever you do hope for, to get from this, you will get. And I think a lot of times it's just a matter of patience, which is, again, tough to teach.
And there's no better feeling than being needed.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to play to your ego, there's no better feeling than this person needs what I have to offer. So, yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very heartwarming, which is good. It's good that we're positive. Heartwarming close to episode 17. Jeff, thank you for your time, brother. Um, Hopefully the horse flies didn't, you know, come back for seconds later this week or something.
We're prepared. I'm about to ask for sure.
Good, good. Yeah, you gotta might have to might have to start carrying, if those horse flies start to grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Best believe. I got my shoe. Take that off. Like, I'm prepared. Best believe.
Right, right. Yeah, they got you once. It's not gonna happen again.
They got me
Um,
times. It's not gonna happen
yeah,
30
there we go. As long as we learning, that's it. That's all we can do.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, bro, this has been fun, and we'll see everybody next time for episode 18.
Y'all be safe.
Peace.